We're in trouble.
Walking up, we're walking for Black Lives Matter.
Walking for Black Lives Matter. What about white people's matter? What about blue people's matter?
Well, that's a job.
It's still people. It's American people. American.
You don't think black people are American people?
I think black people are American. I have no problem with black people. I have a problem with their organizations that want to bring down people like you because you're white.
I don't think they want to bring you down.
That's because you're ignorant.
Irony. Pure irony that this dude would utter such nonsense.
They're using you.
You think so?
Yeah, I think so. My black friends think so. You must be a Democrat.
For sure. Of course I am.
What, do you need to see my firearm?
It's pretty scary, man. I mean,
why?
I'm unarmed, you're armed.
But killed a 5-year-old kid, point blank range.
Black Lives Matter does not advocate shooting kids in the head. You can't think that.
They advocate shooting police.
They don't advocate shooting cops in the head either. You know that.
No,
you know that.
No.
You know that.
No. We'll have to disagree.
When you say all lives matter, that's the equivalent of going to a breast cancer rally and say other diseases matter too. Like, it's true, but you would never do that because that's up. You wouldn't ever go to a rally like that and try and lower what they're dealing with. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes total sense.
That's why you don't say all lives matter, man. You shouldn't.
That shouldn't be.
No, think about that. Really think about that. I felt like I was almost there. I almost got him. He almost came along with me. It hurts. It's really sad. I don't know what to say. We're really behind. We have to walk. So I think we just walk.
There's so much here, right? The first is this dude said that he hates Black Lives Matter, fine, whatever. And then he brought up the point of how black folks are using white people to accelerate whatever agenda they may have. My question to him, if I were interviewing him, would be, what do you think they're using me for? Because if I had to guess, it would be some form of great replacement theory. It has gone fully mainstream. Elise Stefanik has run with it after the Buffalo supermarket shooting. Nancy Mace has run with it. Charlie Kirk is tweeting about it and how it's not this ideology, it is policy. That's insane. Anybody who thinks that Charlie Kirk is not a white supremacist, you are now having your answer. He would then follow up his All Lives Matter line with, well, what about blue people? Cops? First off, the idea that someone would articulate a position in saying, no, it's not actually about black folks, it's about all folks. What you are doing is building up this colorblind mentality when really, as I've gone over many times, and I think it is so succinct and simplistic in a good way of minimizing this rant, when Trevor Noah had Tommy Lauren on The Daily Show and she said, I don't see color, he simply said, well, what do you do at a traffic light? You can't not see color. What you're doing is erasing someone and who they are by saying, it doesn't matter if you're purple, yellow, brown, green. That's not a way of answering this question. You sound super ignorant because what you are denying is a set of facts and reality of who someone is. It's almost sad to be hearing this stuff. But then, after the blue people line, which, by the way, if the Smurfs were alive, maybe you could have that argument. You just can't. This whole thing on his hat as well, where he doesn't like what someone has on their shirt, is rather ironic because the whole reason that was developed was to counter Black Lives Matter. He has that hat on to say, oh, well, they want to go after the police, which they're not. What they're saying is accountability. Why is there no accountability? For according to mappingpoliceviolence.org, black folks are 2.9 times more likely to be killed by the cops. Why do you think that is? I mean, I would wait for his response. And he'd probably say, well, they commit more of the crime. And then that's when you would, of course, go into the ways to combat misinformation by saying that crime is something that largely can not only be cured but eradicated from society with the correct amount of resources to take away people feeling hopeless and being incredibly I want to find the right word here. Because of the positions that they are in and the way that society keeps churning the wheel of the labor force, people are put in desperate situations. And sometimes in order for them to put food on their table, yeah, they're going to steal a little bit from a supermarket. But how about this? Instead of giving tax breaks to the ultra rich, we actually tax them and create a better way of living for societal means. But he obviously wouldn't like that. And then he would go on to say, you must be a Democrat. I'm so sick of hearing about this. I'm so sick of it. Like, I've voted Democrat all my life, and I don't think they do enough. It's out of pure harm reduction, which I absolutely hate. I hate that this is the system that has been concocted and that we have to continue to be enslaved to, is by picking between two political parties that sometimes line up a lot in the middle of that Venn diagram that separates them. And then he thought that Black Lives Matter advocates for shooting cops and kids. Like, I'm looking at this and all I'm thinking is the following. Where do you get your information? What books are you reading? Or, I mean, probably not, but where are you getting this stuff from? Because another humongous problem, and as I continue to talk about, because it plays a major role in how we function, is the role of mass media and how not only has it been hijacked by the ultra rich on one side of the political aisle and also the centrist position to essentially play up things that do not exist, or a way to redirect a certain talking point so that they will be able to manufacture consent for us to continue dealing with these ills within society. I must think personally that he gets his news from Newsmax, he gets his news from OAN, he gets his news from Truth Social, as we even saw in Donald Trump's case in New York City, and Real America's Voice with Steve Bannon and the Charlie Kirk Show. Because none of this is true. Not a drop of it. And yet we still have to acknowledge that these people vote. They vote, and their vote counts as much as yours. So I'm frustrated by this. I'm not fully surprised by it. It continues to be shameful. And what also gets me is that there will be no takeaway with this man. He will think just W's in the chat all over in his head, when in reality, it's the opposite.